This episode is made possible by our sponsor, Omega Bright Wellness. I've taken their omega-3 supplements for many years, and so has my wife, and that's why I invited them to sponsor my podcast. I'm proud to have them. You can find all of their products online at omegabrightwellness.com, and Bright is intentionally misspelled B-R-I-T-E, omegabrightwellness.com. This episode is also sponsored by Landmark College, offering bachelor's and associate programs, short-term and summer programs for students who learn differently. Learn more at lcdistraction.org. Landmark College, the college of choice for students who learn differently. Hello, this is Dr. Ned Hallowell, and welcome to Distraction. Today we have a very, very special guest, Dr. Carol Locke, who's been with us many times. She is the founder, creator, developer, and all-around presiding presence of Omega Bright, one of our sponsors. And they create wonderful nutraceuticals, most notably omega-3 fatty acid in the form of Omega Bright, as well as a wonderful CBD product, and in addition, a particularly excellent vitamin D supplement. So it's great to have her, but not only because she's our sponsor, but because she's a brilliant woman, a thoroughgoing scientist, intellectual, curious force for good in this world. And we wanted to drill down with her into the field of positive psychology just a little bit. So, Carol, first of all, welcome. Great to have you with us.
Thank you.
And
great to be here.
Let me ask you, what is positive psychology and how does it work?
Positive psychology is really the scientific study of what are our strengths and capabilities that allow us as individuals and communities to thrive. So most of psychiatry and psychology in the past focused on illness and pathology and important treatments for depression, ADHD, anxiety, and others. But positive psychology is really focusing on how not only do we heal these things, but how do we build strengths and abilities so we can feel positive, a sense of happiness, meaning, and connection.
And there's a lot of research in that over the past 20 years, isn't there?
There's a tremendous amount of research. It was founded by Marty Seligman, and he really brought it to the focus. And what's exciting about it is that we know from studying how happy people, and there are people that are just born up, how they live and what traits they have that support their happiness and their positive feeling in life and experience. And from that, we know we can use those and build them into our own lives. And that's really exciting.
Well, I know one of the important findings, if you will, is that happy people tend to be compassionate. How does increasing compassion make you feel better?
Increasing your compassion for yourself and for others actually decreases your anxiety, your depression. It decreases emotions of judgment and anger and self-criticism and self-talk. And it increases our positive feelings towards ourselves and others. And an exciting thing is when we practice that and develop that, others feel more able to connect to us. And that connection, as you know, vitamin C, is so important in how we feel in life and what we do in life. So it's really very positive and very effective, and we can build it.
That's wonderful. It's like another one that you can build that is associated with being happy is optimism, and you can actually develop that if you want to.
Yes. And this increases our optimism as well, which is really important in life. And as you know, optimism, when you are more optimistic, you are less depressed, have less anxiety, better performance, reduced risk of dropping out and less health problems. So
Right.
optimism is key.
What are some strategies you can use to practice positive, beneficial emotions?
Well, one of the practices you can do is what I wanted to take you through today is a mindfulness exercise called meta practice or a meta prayer. And this builds our loving kindness towards ourselves and towards others. And it has been shown in research to improve people's optimism, decrease their anxiety, and they feel better. So it's a very simple exercise that you can do alone at any time, basically, and anywhere. And you can adjust the words of this to whatever suits you best.
Can we do it together now?
Yeah, we can do it together now. And just so people know, compassion and self-love and love for others is emphasized and celebrated in all faiths. So, this is a sort of a celebration of people and all faiths. And the meaning of this word, metta, in the Pali language means positive energy and kindness towards others. So that's why it's called also the loving kindness meditation.
Okay. How does it go?
Alrighty. So what we're going to do is in a moment we'll go and we'll take several breaths and go into a relaxed state. And I want to just give people a preview that what we will do is in that state of gentle awareness, we will do 3 rounds of the metta prayer. And the words are, may you be safe and protected. May you be healthy and strong. May you know happiness and the causes of happiness. May you live in peace and ease. And in the first round, we're going to replace the word you with I, as we bring ourselves to mind when we say these positive, helpful, compassionate words. In the second round, we're going to bring a person or a being, it could be a pet, a person you love, that you have positive feelings towards. And we're going to say those words to that person, holding them in mind as we say these words either out loud or in our mind. And in the final round, we're going to bring someone we don't know to mind. This could be someone you've seen, the person at the gas station, the cashier, someone you barely know. And we're going to bring this goodwill towards them, saying those statements towards them. And later, when you've practiced this and you're comfortable with it, you can then use it to bring somebody to mind that you might be having difficulty with. And this will increase your compassion towards them and create a sense of peace that is very helpful in dealing with situations. But we don't want to go there now. We're just gonna get used to this practice, this meditation and prayer. All righty,
Okay.
So you ready? Okay.
I'm ready.
So let's get started. First, you're going to close your eyes and take some easy deep breaths. I want you to find a comfortable posture, whether you're sitting, standing, or lying down. And if you want to, you can keep your eyes open if that's easier, or you can close them. And so we begin with a deep breath in. And as we feel that air go in, we notice, how does it feel as we exhale? And we feel a sense of heaviness in our body. Take another deep breath, and you notice how that breath fills your lungs, lifts your chest, and how your chest falls as you exhale. And then as your third breath in, you just feel an easy sense of relaxation and ease. You're aware and you're feeling comfortable. So as I say these words, you're going to say them to yourself out loud or not. And you're going to let that positive sense of the words surround you in a warm light. May I be safe and protected. May I be healthy and strong. May I know happiness and the causes of happiness. May I live in peace and ease. And you're holding yourself in mind as you let those words surround you. The second round, we're going to think of someone you know you have a relationship of ease and unconditional love. It can be a person, a spiritual figure, a pet, or an image. And as you hold that person or being in mind, you say, may you be safe and protected. May you be healthy and strong. May you know happiness and the causes of happiness. May you live in peace and ease. And you just take a moment as you hold that person or being in mind and let those words and the meaning surround you and them with goodwill. And in the third round, we're going to think of someone that you just know slightly. Maybe you've seen them somewhere, anywhere, and you don't have a complicated relationship with them. It's just some person you've maybe met or just said hello to in a store. And as you hold them in mind, we're going to say the words, may you be safe and protected. May you be healthy and strong. May you know happiness and the cause of happiness. And may you live in peace and ease. And just take a moment while you feel the intention of those words, what they mean, and your goodwill towards that person. And let that be in your body. Notice where it is in your body. You can put your hand on your heart because this is from your heart. And that will help your body release oxytocin. And as you just take a moment to notice how you feel goodwill, you can bring yourself back to the room, open your eyes, take another deep breath, and just bring yourself back to here. And this is something that you can practice every day. And as you practice it, after 2 weeks of doing this every day, there's research that shows that your brain actually is changing. So this increases your ability to feel a loving compassion, a kindness to yourself, and a kindness and compassion to others.
That's wonderful. First of all, I have to tell you, your voice is absolutely perfect for this. You have such a gentle but warm and sunny voice. It really couldn't be better. Your voice. It's also very full of humility, and you don't sound like someone who's talking from on high. You sound like you're right next to me in the case of when we were doing it, but I think the listeners feel that too.
I hope to be.
Well, you're remarkable. All right, well, now I'd like to welcome back to our podcast Katie LaBombard, a student at Landmark College, our wonderful sponsor in beautiful Putney, Vermont. I spoke with Katie last November, and since then, she and the rest of Landmark College spent part of the fall semester learning from home. But now she's back on campus for the spring semester. Thanks for joining me again, Katie. It's great to talk to you again.
Thanks so much for having me. Ditto. Oh, I'm so excited.
Well, so listen, tell us about how did learning from home go last semester?
Oh, goodness. Okay, it was crazy. And obviously, I can't speak for everyone. Everyone has different experiences. Everyone handles their diagnoses differently. But for me and a lot of my friends, it was really hard, really difficult for a multitude of reasons. I know for me and a lot of people, we grew up with bad habits. We grew up maybe procrastinating, maybe just bad habits in general. And when we go to college, we fix those. We find new systems, new habits, new ways to kind of make ourselves better. And then when we go home, we almost regress into our old patterns and old habits. So I know that that's a big struggle for me and other people. But even not looking at that, it's so hard to learn in the wrong environment, to not be face to face, to have that pressure almost. And there is a pressure when you're over video chat instead of, in person.
Right. There sure
and again,
is.
That's for a bunch of different reasons too. Yeah. But luckily Landmark is so understanding, and our professors are so good about it. And with accommodations, especially.
Well, tell us more about how Landmark has helped you. How has Landmark, helped you with these challenges?
Sure. Well, just the accessibility always. The professors always use the kind of, use their skills. They have PowerPoints that they always break down. They always give us time to ask questions. I know a lot of teachers have this really cool closed caption machine they use in their classes. Others have it recorded so they can always give a transcript after class or, the recording. And that's just off the top of my head. There's always office hours. There's always extra help and stuff like that.
So you never feel alone. You never feel that, you have to figure it out by yourself.
Oh, certainly not. No. And as long as you're showing that you're trying, you will not fail. The teachers will always stick their neck out for you and give you either extensions or whatever you need to succeed, as long as you try, of course.
Well, it sounds to me as if you're very happy you picked Landmark as a place to go to school.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Landmark was a dream come true. This school was a first resort and a last resort for me. If it wasn't the school, I don't think I would have gone to any school. I didn't even picture myself going to college when I was a kid. I know a lot of people feel that way as well. They didn't see a future for themselves. Maybe they didn't think it was possible, but it is.
It sure is. You're living proof. Well, thank you. It's great to check in with you again, and we'll be checking back with you soon and see how you continue to progress. I'm so glad things are going well for you, Katie.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
And thank you. And listeners, if you'd like to learn more about wonderful Landmark College, go to lcdistraction.org. That's lcdistraction.org. And thanks again, Katie. Take care.
You too.
All right, let's get back to today's topic. I'm sure many of us, including me, would like to know how do we get a copy of those
I can put a link. On our website, and I can send a link for your podcast, that you can post, because it's a very easy, as you can see, meditation.
Yeah. And where is it from?
This is actually from, in the language Pali in northern India.
P-A-L-I?
And Metta, P-A-L-I, and Metta, M-E-T-T-A, means positive energy and kindness. So this is the loving kindness meditation. And
so if someone looks up Pali, they'd find this?
No, if they look up Metta, M-E-T-T-A, if you Google Metta practice, you're going to pull up the meditation and the history. And there's a book reference that I can give also about loving kindness. And, this really, it's simple, but this intentional act of bringing forward kindness towards others and kindness towards yourself actually increases our optimism, our compassion, our connectedness.
Now, see, I pray in the shower every day, and I use traditional Christian prayers. I use the Lord's Prayer, and I use the prayer of St. Francis of Assisi, which is a wonderful prayer. And and then I throw in a few snippets of whatever occurs to me. But I could add in this metta prayer as well. I mean,
and one of the things, prayer is a way that, I also pray, and in that prayer we're evoking compassion and kindness and humility and something greater than us. And that's so important. And what that does is when people have that transcendental spread of their thinking that there's greater good, it changes people and it helps people. And one of the things about the metta prayer, Ned, that is useful is in the third round, when you're thinking of another person, if you have practiced this for a bit and comfortable, and you have a person that you're having difficulty or struggles with, you do that third round holding them in your mind. And sending that goodwill towards them helps people break out of anger and bitterness. That doesn't help. It doesn't mean that you let people hurt you. Right. It means that you're stronger in your compassion towards them, and you're actually better able to choose your responses. And you're freed up, as you know, from anger is a grip that doesn't help. Right. So that third round is helpful.
That third one, I visualized the guy who filled my tank with gas this morning, because he didn't look like he was very happy. So I visualized him and tried to send him these positive vibrations.
That's great. Yeah.
It's
awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know him from anybody, but...
right. But you're wishing him that wellness, that goodness. That's a really powerful thing.
Yeah. I mean, and all of this is based on, when you pray, it's an act of faith in and of itself. Because you're assuming someone's listening, or some force is listening, or and
the
you
prayer
have
makes
no proof of that, really.
But you feel and you know that this is making a difference somewhere, and this helps. Part of the using positive psychology, is kind of 4 pillars: awareness, connection, purpose, and insight. And this helps with all of them. And people's purpose often is their highest value, whether it's kindness in the world, or probably you and me, it's helping other people. And whatever it is, this increases that. And people can sense it. They connect better to you when you're holding a non-judgmental kindness. And it's so short. You can, I'll put up the words for people, but they can, again, look up metta, M-E-T-T-A, practice, or loving kindness meditation. And, you can have it on a little card and kind of, have it anywhere. And with, taking 3 deep breaths also helps your body break out of stress and go into a relaxed state. And a good resource for people, sorry to interrupt, good resource, Ned, is the University of Wisconsin has a Healthy Minds website, and they've developed a Healthy Minds app for your iPhone or your Android. It's free. And it will teach you all different kinds of meditations. Very short. You can do short or long, 5 minutes or longer. And they go through different forms of a loving kindness meditation. They go through all different kinds. And that mindfulness practice is, again, a powerful foundation of positive psychology.
I'm just thinking, my mind always goes in odd directions. I wonder if this is sort of the reverse of voodoo, and voodoo, you concentrate vengeful thoughts on another person and even build a doll, and so this is sort of concentrating loving thoughts on another person. And, I wonder if the same principles are involved,
And it evokes in your body and in your mind. It breaks your, cortisol release of the stress cycle, which is damaging. And it moves you into a different state towards others. And I think that's really right, because, like even in the Bible, because you're talking about faith, it talks about not holding revenge or vengeance, letting go of that. And it's not about, letting people do anything. It's about how you can cultivate your own mind and heart. And
exactly. Forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself.
Yes.
You free yourself of the hold that anger and resentment have over you.
Right. And for ourselves, that can be towards ourselves as judgment, or, in ADHD, you're always struggling with, did I do this? Blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Right. It can be endless. So this is an important way to kind of cut that and say, send some love in.
Yes. The cynic would say, "Oh, that sounds good, but let's face it, life sucks." And what do you say back to that person?
Well, I think we know from history that people have been practicing these types of prayers in all faiths forever. Yeah. And we know now from the science that they've been studying, both, all over, but at University of Penn and Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, really they're showing that these, like with this mindfulness kindness practice, 2 weeks of that every day actually has a change in the brain. So we know that we're activating different parts of our brain with these different mindfulness practices. And the different meditations have different effects. So they're not just all one bucket, actually. They can do very different things for us. And so to the cynic, it's like, well, you can stay in that box, or you could come out and see that change is possible. And even if we weren't born, I wasn't born like the super happy person, right? I'm a happy person, but I wasn't born, I don't know. You know what I mean? There's some people that nothing.
And you just, so people, I mean, I know you've dealt with a lot of adversity and
yeah.
And you're, still smiling and
grinning.
I mean,
I've had a lot of different challenges in life. And the latest one was getting Guillain-Barré and getting paralyzed and learning to walk again. And, that what was so important there was gratitude. So when I was lying in the hospital and couldn't move, people were coming by and saying, this is terrible. And Ned, I was just filled with this intense feeling of, I'm so grateful I'm alive and can talk to my family, feel their love, and they can know I love them. I really felt kind of a peace, and I really have focused in all the challenges I feel, and I think it's helpful for others. I focus on what I'm grateful for, my breath, my strength, people around, because gratitude really helps with your dealing with hard things. It's really a key to keeping going.
I wonder why that is. I wonder why the feeling of gratitude is so good for you. And I'd say the opposite of that. Why is the feeling of resentment so bad for you? Right.
Well, I think that, when we're talking about stress, and you and I have talked about it on this podcast, stress releases cortisol, it releases inflammatory cytokines, and it sets us off in a very inflamed, irritable state that affects our brain, our heart, everything. And when we do these exercises, we start to mute that stress response, and we don't, well up and dig that anger. Instead, we're kind of breathing and feeling positive and focusing on good things. And that gives us a shift even in our bodies and in our inflammatory state. And, that affects aging. It affects how you feel. It affects whether you're, every day, what your health is and how you connect to people.
It's such a wonderful observation, that if we were just attentive to the thoughts and feelings and images that we entertain, And if we exercise whatever control over those that we're able to, we really make ourselves healthier in very small incremental bits.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And I think the exciting thing is that these are skills we can learn. They're not rocket science. We can learn to ride a bike, and riding a bike, I remember, felt impossible until I got on it, and I remember suddenly riding down the street, and we learned that, and we can learn, these different awareness techniques, these different meditations. We can learn to have a gratitude journal every day, which is huge for me. Another thing that's really important is we can focus on what are our strengths. What are we good at? What are we strong at? Are we a caring person? Are we compassionate? Are we responsible? Whatever it is, make a list of 3 of your top strengths, and then notice each day how you're using them. Because that's building your abilities, your positive abilities that you have. And that's a good focus.
It sure is. And you can do that. You don't have to go to school to learn how to. Right.
It's really beautiful. And it's so exciting, that we're focusing on how do we live a better life? How do we build connection? How do we build meaning? What is our purpose or calling? And how can we take actions, whether they're little or big, towards that? And those things all add up into feeling good.
Yes. Well, this has been wonderful, Carol. I just, during the time we've been talking, I've been feeling a kind of peace and ease, to use one of the words in the prayer, coming over me. It really does happen. It really, it's you don't have to be a tree hugger. You don't have to.
No, you can
be someone you're not. You can be a grumpy old man and
right. You can be a cynic.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
It's really cool. Oh, I'm so glad to share it with you.
Well, it's always delightful to talk to you. You're really one of the angels of this world. And I'm not just saying that because you sponsor my podcast.
We go back a long way.
We do. Thank you, Carol. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ned. Thank you to everybody listening.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, listen, if they want to, I got to plug you. To learn about what you do and your products, just go to omegabrightwellness.com.
That's right.
Okay, omegabrightwellness.com. And you'll see Carol's wonderful array of life-enhancing products.
And it's spelled Omega Bright, BRITE, wellness. And the Omega-3 we make, Omega Bright 7010, we just had a new study come out that shows that reduces reactivity to stress, cortisol levels, and protects you against oxidative stress and the risk of depression. It's a really exciting study. I'll send it to you.
But this is by taking the omega-3.
Yeah, Omega Bright, right? Omega-3. Yeah. It's a brand new study, just came out in molecular psychiatry. So it's really interesting. So it kind of brings it all together, allowing your body to reduce inflammation, reduce cortisol, reduce stress, and oxidative stress in your body. And people feel better. They have reduction in anxiety and depression. So it's a good thing.
It sure is.
Yeah. So there's different ways. These are all different ways that you can use to feel better and to improve your ability to handle the world, which we all need right now in the pandemic. And as we come out of it, it's hard. So, wishing good things for everybody. And
wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Carol Locke. Okay, well, that's our show for today. I love Dr. Locke. She's really remarkable. Please reach out with your questions and comments. Write an email or record a voice memo and send it to connect@distractionpodcast.com. That's connect@distractionpodcast.com. Distraction is created by Sounds Great Media. Our recording engineer and editor is Scott Persson, and our producer is the wonderful Sarah Guertin. I'm Dr. Ned Hallowell, and thank you so much for listening. The episode you just heard was made possible by my good friends at Omega Bright Wellness. I take their supplements every day, and that's why I invited them to sponsor my podcast. Shop online at Omega Bright, and that's BRITE wellness.com.